Let's do it.
Okay, it's recording. You guys, happy Tuesday. Welcome to my channel, Wholesale to Million. It's Khang. And you guys, this is our third subscriber wholesale deal interview. And I'm going to have our special guest once again share his personal stories. And also, too, it's his first wholesale deal that he recently closed in November with you guys. Now, the purpose of this, you guys, is to inspire and motivate those of you who haven't done your first wholesale deal yet to go get it done, all right? Now, if you like this kind of interview, you guys, make sure to subscribe and make sure to turn on that bell notification so when I upload a new video, you guys won't miss anything, all right? And if you have recently done a wholesale deal, please, you guys, I would love to get you guys on the show to share your story. So drop me a comment below and let me know, all right, you guys? So, you guys, let's help me welcome Byron Holman from Houston, Texas. Welcome, buddy.
H-Town.
Yeah, Brian. So just share with me, how is Houston, Texas?
It's good now, man. We had that big hurricane with Harvey. Man, it was devastating. But we were able to make a lot of money off of it. And it looks like we're going to continue to make a lot of money off of it as investors. So, it was kind of like a blessing and a curse at the same time,
Sure. Gotcha. No, hey, I absolutely understand. Gotcha. So, Brian, let's get it kick-started. So let's get into your personal stories. Share with us about your story, how you got into this whole real estate wholesaling game.
Well, it started I started off because I'm actually a travel nurse. So I started off just working like a ton and saving as much as I possibly could. For the most part, I was probably just living on maybe about 50% of my income. And so I was doing that for a while. And then, initially I wanted to get into rental properties. And but I realized pretty quick that, even if I'm working and saving, it's going to take a long time before I'm able to save up enough to buy enough rental properties to sustain my lifestyle. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
So I was like, okay, I got to do something. So I was just researching. I was just like, I researched everybody. I think I've read like all of the books. It was just nonstop for probably about a year. And, initially wholesaling was something that I thought was just to be honest, I thought it was like what the little guys did. You know what I mean? Like that I didn't look at it as like something, that was like what the real guys did. You know what I mean? So initially I was just like, yeah, I don't think I want to do no wholesaling. You know what I mean? Like I'm either flipping or I'm just going to just try to rent, buy and hold, So, I tried to put I initially tried to get an apartment complex. It was a 6-unit over in the country kind of area outside of Houston. And that didn't happen because I couldn't get the loan fast enough. Another bigger investor beat me out because he was buying 2 properties. One was a 30-unit over in Beaumont, Texas. And they were trying to sell them both at the same time. So he was willing to buy both, so they gave the deal to him. Second deal was some properties I was trying to buy over in Third Ward, where it was a 6-unit, 6 individual houses. That deal fell through. Then another deal I got, that one fell through. So I was just like, God, like what's going on? Which in retrospect, when I think about it, it was probably better that they didn't close because, I had the money to invest in something completely different. And then I ended up, that's how I started getting introduced to the world of wholesaling and other methods of investing. And I ended up joining a program actually called the Big Dogs here with the guy that runs it named Phil. Well, initially I started Fortune Builders. And that I ended up scrapping that because I found a more local program, which is called the Big Dogs, and I joined them instead. And I had to shell out like 20 grand. But it was cool because I ended up meeting some good friends, and things just kind of started taking off from there, you know?
I hear you, man. So, Brian, there's a couple things that you said that I can relate, man. When I first started out, my wife and I was exactly like you. We knocked down the wholesaler. We're like, man, we're in here to make big money. We don't want to wholesale and make a few $1,000.
Yeah.
And that's when I look into, my wife and I were looking into, yeah, man, well, to make the big money. So this is how we kind of think of it. Level 1, entry level, wholesaling. Next thing, fix and flip. Next thing, develop, builder, etc. Right? Skyscraper.
Exactly.
So we're like, well, we don't want to make the little money, right? So we said, hey, let's jump into making the bigger money, which is fix and flip, right?
Exactly.
And because of that kind of thinking, I pushed the wholesaling away and didn't really look into it until later on, man. I knew that these wholesaler has the best lifestyle. They scaled their business up so big and huge. I'll be like, dang.
Exactly.
Hey, now, Brian, let's dig a little bit into your personal story. So you saying you were a traveling nurse, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you're living on a 50% income, or
yes.
Gotcha. Okay, so could you share with us kind of like where's your finances is, and then were you part-time or were you full-time when you jump into the whole real estate game?
I've been part-time. I'm still part-time, essentially. I mean, so, I've always kind of, like ever since, like I've always kind of been kind of frugal in terms of my spending. So it was nothing for me to just go, because even when I got started nursing, I was still living on 50% of my income. So that was nothing new, but the difference was when I started traveling, man, I was making way more money. I went from making about, I pretty much essentially I tripled my income when I went from floor nursing to like working, traveling. And then, so that kind of, just that alone just started, opening my eyes to different opportunities. So that was my, that's how I started thinking about real estate. I don't think I would have thought about it if I didn't have that disposable income to just even think about investing outside of the box. So that's how that happened.
Gotcha, man. So what is it behind that got you to want to go into real estate? Like, I guess, well, what's the reason behind it?
I think it was because the barrier to entry was a lot lower. Initially, I wanted to get me like a Subway or something, or a couple Subways. You know what I mean? And, I was just like, man, that's going to take me forever. You know what I mean? And then I was thinking about all of the, the training you need, and then the scalability. So, I just said, you know what, let's hold off on that because it's going to take too much to get into it. So that it was primarily the barrier to entry was a lot lower. Gotcha.
Dude, bro, this is crazy. my wife and I before the whole real estate, right? We're so similar. My wife and I was trying to figure out, obviously I was sharing with you guys that she wants to become like, she has this dream of becoming a multi-millionaire, right? And it's just like with what we're doing, work and save, man, it's gonna take us forever to get there, right? And dude, we look into Subway. So there was this East Indian that owns some Subway in the mall, right? He owns some Subway franchise. Dude, we look into the Subway franchise. My wife even got one of her friends she paid for one of her friends to go take the test for her because we knew that there's no way we would pass the test. Dude, we were like, because basically we were like, hey, you know what? We can come up with the money, right?
Yeah.
We can come up with the money to figure out how to get this done, but man, there's no way we'll pass the test. So we're trying to find other ways around it, you guys. But you know what? A lot of times you think what you want is best for you. And I don't want to be religious or anything like that, but sometimes God or the universe know what is best for you. Like what's better for you. Like you think something is good for you, but sometimes when you don't get it, man, when we didn't get it, we were feeling down. But you know what? God or the universe have something better in place for you. All right?
Definitely.
So just want to let you guys know that when sometimes things doesn't happen your ways, or when you invest in something or you want to go at some business and it doesn't happen and it doesn't turn out the way you wanted it, sometime something better in store is going to happen for you. All right?
Definitely.
So let's see. So Brian, let's get into your first wholesale deal. So could you share how did you come across that, and also too is when did you started?
Yeah. So I started what they call here the Big Dog program. That's the name of the program itself. And so I started that program in August. It was like August 9th. And I paid 2017.
2017, okay.
Yeah, so that was not that long ago, actually, maybe about 6 months ago or so. And so as soon as I start the program, I paid my $20,000, which was like, crap, what the hell am I doing with my life right now? Like I gave these people 20 grand. Well, actually I gave Fortune Builders like 30 grand. I got a refund though. I got a refund from that crap, man, because it was,
Brian, oh my God, man. So when we got started, my wife also, she obviously, she was looking into, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, Brian, but
no, tell me.
Dude, there's just so many similarities. Fortune Builder, you guys, these guys are salesmen. They got my wife on the phone.
You leave on a high.
Dude, and she almost pulled the trigger to buy their program. And, I believe in program. I believe in seminars. I believe in a lot, when a lot of times when people ask, is it worth it to pay for the seminars or this program? You guys, what it is, it's going to be you, the one that's going to make it happen. All right. It's going to be you, the one that's going to make it happen. It's not the program. It's not this, but man, these guys are such a salesman. They were so good at it. It's expert. All right. And we almost pulled the trigger on buying their program, but instead we went a different route.
Yeah. And that's essentially what happened. I actually pulled the program. I paid them the money. And I quickly realized that, and it's nothing, I can't say anything bad about them necessarily, because when I got into the program, it was actually a good program. Like they had a lot of great things in it. The only problem was it was not specifically tailored to the area where I was. And Fortune Builders didn't have a major presence in Houston. So that was another, problem with it, because it's like at the end of the day, you're needing that close, intimate interaction with a program or anything in order to be able to pull the trigger. Because even once I got with the big dogs, it wasn't until I met a real good friend of mine, my homie Lamb. He he works with two guys here, and they're killing it here. Lamb and the other guy named is Trung. You actually kind of look like him, man, to be honest.
Dude, all Asian looking like so. Hey Brian, so are these guys, are they Vietnamese?
Yes.
Oh man, yes. That's why it's probably brother from another mother, man.
You know what I mean? I mean, these guys, man, so, they brought me up under their wing, and actually Lamb, so they were like, you know what, dude, screw all of that rental, all that fix and flip, man, we just wholesaling, that's it. You know what I mean? They were like, that's all we do is wholesale. I mean, these guys are killing it. And so I think they had like their first 6-figure month was when was it? In November. It was their first 6-figure month. So it was cool. So, and I was actually able to contribute to that. So it was awesome, you know.
Nice,
So
nice.
basically, so Lamb, I just met Lamb, and then I went on probably, I got Bandit signs immediately, and I started hitting the pavement hard, and so I'm putting them out, and I'm getting contract offer after contract offer with sellers, great deals, and I'm just losing them. Like Like I'm going to negotiate these deals, and for some reason, I know what the reason was. Like now that I look at it in retrospect, it was primarily, I think I was approaching it from a nice guy's perspective. I come from a nursing background. We try to empathize with people. All this crap. So I'm giving them time to wait on the deals. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, take your time, sign the contract when you're ready. That crap. That crap doesn't work, bro. Like, it doesn't work because all they were doing was taking my contract and going and shopping the deal to other investors, and I'm losing contract after contract after contract. Great deals that I know that if I had the right sales tactics, I would have closed those deals, and I probably would have been maybe about $50,000 richer by now. Like, honestly. So I said, you know what? No more of this. Something is going wrong. So I called Lamb. I'm like, look, dude, like, honestly, can you negotiate my first deal for me? You know what I mean? Like I need you to negotiate this deal because obviously I'm not doing this right. So Lamb agreed. Like, he agreed. I was like, dang, I'm happy. So first deal, he actually negotiates the whole thing by himself instead of me initially talking to him and then he coming after. He negotiates this deal, and he closes it. Okay, so that was cool, but then here comes the problem. All right, so he negotiates the deal and everything. He tells the dude, look, and I'm thinking because he figured it was my first deal, he wanted to make sure he got it done. So he tells the seller, look, man, we're going to sell this thing in like a week. Don't worry about it. We're going to get it done. But he puts the contract out for 30 days, which is perfect. And then all of a sudden, so we sign the deal, everything. And then he disappears. So I'm like, crap. Where did he go? Like, he just falls off the planet. So I'm like, I'm blowing his phone up like, dude, like, what's going on? Like, I need to know what's going on, like, with this deal, because the seller is blowing me up thinking that I'm supposed to close this deal next week. And I'm like, it's no way possible we're gonna be able to close this deal. And like later he tells me that, he wanted me to kind of see what he wanted me to kind of do it on my own, you know what I mean? But at that time I'm like, dude, like, I need to understand what's going on. He was in Dallas, gone. And so I'm just like scrambling around. The seller is blowing my phone up. I don't know what to tell him. No way at all are we going to be able to close this deal in like a week. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, dang. And then it's a flooded home. It's in this city named Alvin, which Alvin is nice. I mean, it was a nice property. I think the ARV on this property was 180. The purchase price was like 62. Well, it was actually 60 plus. The dude ended up he ended up forcing me into adding a barn on there for an additional 2,000. Because I was so freaking nervous. I just was like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean? So like, so we add the barn. It was like 62,000. It was still a great deal. So Lamb listed for, I think, 82. So we were set to make about 20 grand on this first deal. But like I said, he leaves. So I don't really know what's going on. I'm calling like all of these different, buyers, potential buyers. and I'm not getting anything. You know what I mean? He listed it on My House Deals, and I think he did a email blast out, and then I was just like hitting the pavement, emailing it out to different people. I didn't know about Craigslist. I wish I'd known about Craigslist back then, because I definitely would have listed it there. So we had a few people coming through, but like I said, Lamb just kind of checked out. And he didn't want to talk to the seller anymore, I guess because like it was uncomfortable, because he told him that we were going to be able to do it in a week. And the seller was like, we couldn't do it in a week. We weren't even close to a week. Matter of fact, we didn't actually close this deal until, when was it? So the contract was set for December 4th, the ending of it. And I think we closed on like the 29th of November.
Yep.
And so the seller, he was cool, but he kind of pissed. So I had to utilize a lot of different tactics to kind of keep him calm. Like, he was like one of those anxious type. I mean, he was real anxious. He was thinking that we were like pulling some type of scam on him. And I'm just like, dude, like, no, just relax, dude. Like, we're gonna. He was like, I thought y'all said y'all had the cash and y'all were gonna, you know what I mean? Like, he was just like on it. And I'm like, man, like, leave me alone, dude. Like, I was just like so stressed out about this deal, man. So I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, so anything to get this deal done, I need to get it done. And every single buyer that went out there was like, nah, the ARV. Okay, so the insurance payoff on this deal was $189. And so we were thinking that the ARV was about 180. And but all of the investors were saying, nah, it's about 160. It's about 160. The ARV, the true ARV is 160. So everybody kept saying, we're not gonna get that number. So I just kept going. Lamb was like, no, dude, you need to keep your price. Keep your price. I'm like, dude, nobody is biting at this price. Even though in retrospect, like I said, he was probably right, but we didn't have enough. Alvin is like a smaller city. So we didn't have enough buyer flow in that area to demand the price we wanted, even though it was a good price. So that's where we were at with that. And then after that, I ended up meeting some network realty guys, and they were like, nah, don't mess with those guys. These guys they're wholesalers. Like, so what they do is they buy from wholesalers and sell to other buyers, to end buyers. And I ended up meeting these guys, and initially we were trying to sell it at 82, and they were like, nah, we can't do 82. So we can't do the deal. So I just scrapped them for a while. And we just kept trying to sell. Nobody was biting at the 82. So we dropped the price. This was maybe about 3 weeks in. The seller is blowing me up, man. Blowing me up. I'm just like, what do I tell this dude? Like, and I didn't have anything definitive to tell him. You see what I'm saying? And then, like, when I would ask Lamb, he just was, he wouldn't. Either he was just gone on another deal, because they were busy. They had, like, I think at that time maybe about 10 deals at that time. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't really have time to babysit my deal. He didn't want to babysit my deal, and he didn't really need to babysit my deal at that time. I felt like he needed to babysit my deal. Like, my deal was the most important deal on earth. You know what I mean? Even though he had deals where they were making like 40 grand off of, you know what I'm saying? Like, but in my mind, so I didn't know really what to do. So I went ahead and deferred to the network realty guys. I called them back. Hey, I could do this deal for 72. They were like, okay, well, we'll go check and look at it again. So they go and take a look at the deal, and God, thank God they were able to get me out of that deal, because we were actually able to put that deal under contract on November the 18th it was. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, on November the 18th. And they put the earnest money down. And then, well, they said they put the earnest money down. They never even put the earnest money down until like the day before. So I was stressing about that. It was so everything that could have went wrong on this deal, I swear went wrong. Then we had it under another title company, right? And they were like, nah, we're gonna go with a different title company. So when I'm and so this was taking more time because the title company we had already had everything ready to go. And the seller is still blowing me up. He's like, look, because he needed the money to purchase another property. So he was needing all of his money. He was like, dude, like I need this money because I'm buying another property and I need this cash because I'm paying for it cash. So we were like, I'm working on it. You know what I mean? He was like, where's Lamb? I need to talk to Lamb because he told me he had the cash to pay for the house. And I'm just like, dude, Lamb is not calling you.
Like, no, you'll be like, dude, Lamb just took off and flew to Vietnam.
Yeah. Exactly. You know what I mean? And I was like, and I ended up telling him, hey, Lamb just helps with the negotiations. We're a big company with a lot of different investors. You know what I mean? So I was like, he just does the negotiations part. And he was like, so what? Who am I signed to? Like what? He was like, so what company am I with? Like, what's going on here? I was like, yeah, Lamb just helps with the negotiations, and it's my company. I'm gonna be paying for it, whatever. You know what I mean? And I end up finally getting the seller to kind of calm down a little bit. Oh God, man, it was just a nightmare, man. And so the Net Worth Realty guys, we put it under contract. They were supposed to send their earnest money to the title, right? So come to find out, I don't think they were going to send their earnest money until the day before. That was their plan the whole time because they knew that they were wholesaling it too. You know what I mean? So it was like a double closing. So they ended up so they told me that, hey, we sent the money to the other title company. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean you sent it to the other title company? I called the other title company and they were like, no, they didn't send the money over there. And so they ended up sending it like last minute. I'm like stressing because I'm like, are these dudes really gonna do this deal? Because I've already told the seller, hey, we're gonna close on November 29th. You see what I mean? So I didn't get confirmation that the earnest money had cleared, I think, to like the 27th. Yeah, it was like the 27th or something like that. Then it was like around Thanksgiving. So it was like a lot of ambiguity there in terms of title company not knowing things because it was a holiday, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, dude, like we need to get this done. So they finally put the money into the earnest money in. So I was like, okay, I was able to relax a little bit, but I'm still stressing because I don't know, you know what I mean? So I'm calling them like, you think, okay, so should anything go wrong? I mean, they've put in earnest money, you know what I mean? I don't know why they would not do the deal. And so they ended up, so we set it for the 29th to close, and we actually closed on the 29th and everything. But the only problem was the seller. Okay, so the seller was expecting them to meet him there. And I had told him that I was just dumb. I told him that they would meet there and we do the deal. And so he's expecting to see them and, and us, we all closed the deal together. So they weren't coming till like 4 that day because they had like 5 deals closing. This particular group, and they're called Gulf Coast Funding or something like that, Capital. And so they fund a lot of deals. So they weren't going to go there until like the end of the day to close the deal, because they had like 5 deals closing that same day. So the seller is like still stressing. I'm stressing because I'm like, why, what's going on? Like, I need this to get done, because they didn't release funds. So I'm calling the title company that they release funds, didn't release funds. They didn't even get there to like the next day. And so I'm just like, man, I hope they, don't stand us up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they end up getting there. They release funds, and everything from my understanding went through. So the title company, so whenever the next day after the funds went through and everything, title company was like, well, hey, don't worry, you don't have to come up here. We'll mail the check off to you. I was like, nah, I'm coming up there. I'm coming up there right now to get this check. You know what I mean? Because I'm like stressing. I'm thinking like something was going to go wrong. I'm just like, man, this is just like ridiculous. So it was crazy.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, you know what, Byron, I want to say congrats on the deal. That's awesome, man. Seems like a lot of stuff what's going on, but you're able to get it done, and that's all that matters. So yeah. You guys, Byron, I'm gonna break this. I'm gonna break this down because I know that we're kind of going everywhere. So I'm gonna break this down. So for everyone to understand here. So you pay Big Dog program $20,000.
Yes.
Okay. So you pay them $20,000, and was Lamb supposed to be your mentor in that program?
He wasn't directly, because $20,000 was with no mentor. So you can either pay $20,000, $35,000 with the coach, or $50,000, which is the apprentice, and then you get like the head guy as your mentor. So I just went at the $20,000 because I was brought in by another friend of mine named Sergio, who he brought me in. He came in at the apprentice level, and he was like, "Look, you don't need to pay that, man. Just come in. I'll connect you with the people you need to know." And I ended up meeting Lamb and Trung. They were actually big dogs as well. And they ended up just mentoring me because I brought them a deal.
I got you. Okay. I got you. Okay. Now, how did you find your first deal? Was it Bandit sign, etc.?
Bandit signs.
Okay.
Nursed by sick houses.
Nursed by sick houses.
Yes.
Is that really what you put on there?
Yes. Yes.
And how many Bandit signs do you put out?
At this point, I think before I closed my first deal, I had put out maybe about 150. But I had gotten I got a ton of calls on that Bandit sign, man. I'd probably gotten, maybe about 10 leads. Wow. Those Bandit signs. Yeah. So it was I got, a lot.
And at this time, so basically you're doing part-time, right?
Yes.
Byron?
Yes.
So you're doing part-time, and when you put the sign, give some of those people some tips for Bandit sign, like location, etc.
Well, okay, so I can tell you right now, so initially when I started putting my Bandit signs out, I was just I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm all over the place. I'm putting Bandit signs just wherever I can find a spot to just put it randomly around the city, right? And I found out that doesn't work. That doesn't work as well. So what I, and in the training they were saying, look, don't focus on the whole city. You will never get the whole city. Pick your spot and just stick there. So I doubled down on that advice, and I just found one little area, and I just plastered the hell out of that area. I didn't go far, because see and that's when I started getting most of my calls. Bandit signs work kind of from my purview, what works for me. They work kind of like how Coca-Cola, the oversaturation technique. If you spread them out, it doesn't build that brand loyalty, that brand recognition that people, I think, like to see. People want to see 2 or 3 of your signs before they call that one. You know what I mean? From my perspective on Bandit signs. So if you're gonna put out Bandit signs, don't spread yourself too thin. Do an area where you can do, a lot of Bandit signs in that one small area to be most effective. That's what works for me.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and the thing, you guys, so I just want to make sure that audience clear here. So, Brian makes 10,000 on this wholesale deal. Is that correct?
Yes.
10,000 on his first wholesale deal, you guys. Now, with the whole thing that Brian is saying, when you guys have a very small budget, all right? If you guys have a small budget, my suggestion is you guys pick a target place and just flood it, because you guys don't have a big enough budget to spread it out. If you spread it out, then you'll be too thin with your budget. If you have a small budget, just pick an area and then just dominate whatever you're doing. Whether it's direct mail, Bandit sign, or whatever it is, just dominate that. And then eventually, when you're, obviously when you build up that cash, then you can go wider and then wider. But with a small budget, don't just spread it out, because it's really hard for you to dominate with that kind of budget if you just spread out your marketing.
Exactly.
Now, but Brian, with the 150 sign that you put out, now I want you guys to understand that Brian said that he started back in August 9th, 2017 with Big Dog Program. But how long did you actually got into, starting the research? A year before that, right?
Yeah, it was about a year before that. But I hadn't did anything. You
see, you guys, it takes time to, it takes time. You got to learn. And the reason, you guys, it's really rare. It's really, really rare that people got into the whole business and they do their first deal within a month or 2 months. Like, it could happen, you guys. It could happen. It's really, really rare. But don't see those guys saying, oh yeah, I did my first deal, I made 20,000, 40,000, 50,000 within a month, 2 months, 3 months. And then you're in it for a month or 2 or 3 months. And then you'll be like, whoa, shoot, man, I didn't get that result. And then you end up letting go. You guys think, there are people out there, it takes even longer for them to get their first deal. All right. So it's really depend on you. It depends on everything. It's you, the budget, how much time you can put into it, etc. So don't be in it for 6 months and a year and then give up. You're already in it. Let's finish it.
Exactly.
Now, so Brian, how long did you put up those Bandit sign, and how consistent are you? Do you have to take off those sign and put it back on, or how does that work?
Initially I was, so I just put them out. I didn't take them back up. I was just putting them out wherever. And then I would say my last 50 signs was when I started getting the bulk of my calls. But when I got them, I mean, I was just getting tons of calls, and I was going on tons of meetings, and I just wasn't closing any deals. I wasn't closing any deals, man. So, and then I finally, like I said, with Lamb, I was able to close the deal, but I was putting them out so I worked 7 days on, 7 days off. So I was going every other week, and I was putting them out myself, me and my brother. I paid my brother to help me. Now I have a team that I paid that are they're sucking right now. So I may have to find me another team right now because they're dropping the ball, but that's a whole nother story.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So Brian, right now, is the Bandit sign, is that the only marketing that you were doing at that time?
The only marketing.
The only marketing. Okay. And how much did it cost you for that 150 sign?
A crap ton, because I paid a premium. I think it was $469 for the initial 100, and then it was about $269 for the 50, because I went to a place that was a little bit more expensive.
Okay. So do you have a rough estimate? Was it $500, $1,000, or?
Yeah. So it was $469 for the first 100 and $269 for the 50. So that was, maybe
gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Well, you guys do the math on that. And now it took, so basically Lamb went in, negotiated with the seller, tied the deal up for 30 days. Is that correct?
Yes.
So he tied the deal up for 30 days, but he told the seller that he could get this done and closed within 7 days.
Yes.
Okay, so he tied up for 30 days, you guys, which means that 30 days it allows you to market to find a buyer for this property. All right. So I always stress, as you know, the more time you can get on it, the better. All right, especially when you first started out. So, anyways, you got 30 days on this, and at that time, what kind of marketing were you doing to find these buyers?
Well, initially we did the My House Deals website, posted it there, and we did like email blasts, and yeah, so that was pretty much what we did on that deal.
Got,
And
gotcha. So you put on
but the
My House Deal, that website, and then you just basically just sending out to all of your buyers on your email, right? On your email list.
exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. And how long did it took you? How many buyers? So now the property, is it vacant? Is it occupied?
It's vacant,
Okay, so the property is vacant, and
and it was a flood home too, so it was fully remediated.
Gotcha. Okay, so it was vacant and it was a flood. Okay, and the reason why the seller is selling it is because he wants that cash to buy another piece of property, right?
Yeah, because I mean, he was an older guy. The house was flooded, and he got $189,000 from insurance. So it was essentially worth more. Yeah, he was like, "I'm out of here," and if I could sell it for 60, that's even better. You know what I mean? So
Gotcha. Yep. No, that's kind of, you guys, what the insurance, you guys, those are some great deals. My firehouse, we did a couple of firehouse deal. Oh man, those were like 50,000. There's one that we made 100 on it because basically they already got the insurance money, and then whatever they can sell for, quick cash is just extra.
Exactly.
So
icing on the cake.
Yeah. So now how long did it took you to find this? How many showing did you show until you find this buyer?
Oh my God. It was like maybe about at least a good 5 or 6. No, it was probably about 8 or 9, maybe about 8 or 9 showings. And then the actual buyer that ended up being a buyer, I just met with him. So I met with him, went to the office because they saw my Bandit signs, and they called my Bandit signs and was like, "Hey, I'd love to meet with you and see what you're doing. I'm seeing your Bandit signs a lot, and we work this area, and we wholesale too." So I'm thinking, oh man, this guy's gonna waste my time. You know what I mean? And I go to their office. Their office is real nice. And he ended up, that's who ended up buying it,
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we're running out of time. The wife had she has to have her Skype meeting.
Uh-oh.
So
Gotcha.
okay. So basically, so they find so you find the deals. They came in now with so basically these guys are also wholesalers. So they're thinking about tying your property under contract at a certain amount of price, and then go out there and find another buyer and assign it over for a higher price, right?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
And you guys end up doing a double closing on this deal?
Yes.
So, but you did an assignment, right? You assigned it to them. They did a double closing with the other end guy. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay, you guys. I mean, just gonna wrap this up. Hey, I had so much fun with you, man. That was a great interview. Congrats on all the success. But really quickly, where you're at right now in your business?
It's going good, man. I mean, it's going. I have a deal right now in the Heights area. I don't know if you're too familiar with the Houston area, but I actually got this deal networking, man. And I bought this one from a distressed builder. The builder was running out of money, and he was about to lose like all 3 of his townhomes. So I got this property at $210, plus the wholesale fee of $10,000. And then it's actually worth about $313. So I'm in the process of selling that one. That's going to be a nice spread. I actually had to buy this one though. And it's brand new construction, beautiful. I just got to put a little money into the touch ups and putting it back on the market, man. So hopefully I'll make maybe 50 grand on this deal. You know what I mean?
Nice, man. Nice. So, Brian, so how can people contact you? Are you okay with sharing your title company with anyone that's in the Houston area?
Definitely. Homeland Title, they're based in Clear Lake, which is outskirts. But the good thing about them is that pretty much they work with investors, very investor friendly. They so they do two sets of documents. So you'll never have to worry about going in and your seller seeing how much you're making and all that stuff. You know, they do it like that. So
Cool, man. So Brian, I just want to make sure, do you have a channel or anything like that people can follow you or anything like that?
Yeah. It's under Byron. You could just check me out at Wondrous. I have a channel called Wondrous One, actually. So you could just check that out. And then I'm gonna have another investment channel that I'm gonna start as well. But the name of my company is Wonder US Property Group. If you email me at info@Wonder US Property Group, I'll give you all the details on everything.
Awesome. Yeah, but Brian, just make sure that send me the link to your YouTube channel. I'll pop it in the description, you guys. If you guys are in that area or you're looking to invest in that area, reach out to Brian. He seems like a really cool guy. He'll hook you guys up with, already the title company that he's working with. And, that's just one step you guys have to worry about. So Brian, just to wrap this up, man, want to say thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I love these kind of interviews, you guys. And if you guys want to be next, drop me a comment below. Would love to get you guys on.
Definitely. Hey, and also I sent you a picture of my first deal and the check and everything too.
Done, man. Got it. So, hey, quickly, to end this, any quick tips for those who want us to start out?
Yes, definitely. I'd say persistence is the key to this. I don't think it's intelligence. I don't think it's just persistence and just stand on it, number one, and I think my goal this month, my goal is to try to make about 30 grand a month this year. That's my goal. So we'll see.
Cool, man. Brian, thank you so much, man. So I'm going to end this right now. You guys have a great day.